Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we try to make sense of the financial world and sometimes maybe find a hidden gem or a falling knife. Today we're diving into a report from Aditxt Inc. and let's just say they've been busy signing papers. It's like a never-ending amendment party for this merger. So what's the big story here? Aditxt, which is involved in some interesting biotech stuff, has been working on a merger with Evofem Biosciences. Think of it like two companies deciding to join forces to become one bigger, hopefully stronger entity. This report is basically an update on the latest changes to the agreement that makes this merger happen, and there have been quite a few. Back in December 23, Aditxt first announced they were going to merge with Evofem. The plan was for a subsidiary company, let's call it Merger Sub, to merge into Evofem. This means Evofem would become a part of Aditxt. It's a common way for companies to combine, but as you know with these big deals, things rarely go exactly as planned on the first try. So, in July of last year, they had to restate the whole agreement and add some new conditions. One of the key things they agreed upon before the merger was finalized, these were like stepping stones, or in this case cash injections, to keep the deal moving. They planned to invest money at different points, first in July, then in August, and then again by the end of September and October. Then, just a month later, in August, they had amendment number 1. This usually means tweaking the dates or amounts. They moved the deadline for one of the investments, the one originally planned for the end of August, to early September. And the merry-go-round of amendments continued. In September, they came out with amendment number 2. This one changed the date for that third investment again, pushing it to the end of September. Not only that, they also adjusted the amount of money for that investment, reducing it from $2 million to $1.5 million. Plus, they pushed the date for the fourth investment further out to the end of October, and also increased its amount to $1.5 million. It seems like they are constantly adjusting the terms, which can be a sign of either caution or difficulty in finalizing the deal. Just a week later, in early October, amendment number 3 arrived. This time they extended the date for the third investment again to that very same October 2nd. They also fiddled with the money amounts again, reducing the third investment to over $2 million. It's like a financial seesaw. Then came November and amendment number 4. This one seems to have focused on the end date, which is essentially the deadline for the merger to be completed, pushing it from the end of November to the end of January 2025. Fast forward to March of this year, and here's amendment number 5. They agreed that Evofem would try its best to have their shareholder meeting by September 26th of this year. Aditxt also committed to invest another $1.5 million by April 7th, and the big one, the end date, was pushed yet again, this time to September 30, 2025. That's a lot of extensions. And now we're at amendment number 6, signed on August 26, 2025. This is the main event of this report. They've made more tweaks, including updating what they call unconverted company preferred stock to include a new type of stock called Series G1 preferred stock. They also clarified how Evofem's shareholders can vote on the deal, basically including all preferred stock that's allowed to vote. A key part here is that Evofem will help in getting these things called exchange agreements. This is to swap outstanding convertible notes and purchase rights for about 89,000 shares of Aditxt preferred stock. Think of it as cleaning up the books and making sure everyone who has a stake in an older agreement gets a stake in the new combined company. They also adjusted the number of dissenting shares. These are shares held by shareholders who don't agree with the merger. If too many shareholders dissent, it can sometimes stop a merger. So by setting a limit, they are trying to manage that risk. To me, 5.9 million shares of common stock or 22 shares of preferred stock seems like a pretty specific number. They also added a requirement for waivers from holders of a Series E1 convertible preferred stock. These waivers are to essentially say they won't cause problems with certain parts of the original agreement, like price adjustments, which is important for a smooth transition. The real meat and potatoes of this filing is Exhibit 10 Alt, which is the actual document for amendment number 6. This is where all these detailed changes are legally laid out. And signing off on this is Amar Obana, the Chief Executive Officer of Aditxt. Now, what does all this amendment signing really mean? Well, first it tells us this merger hasn't been easy. Multiple extensions and adjustments suggest there might have been some hurdles, maybe related to financing, regulatory approvals, or just getting all the different stakeholders to agree. We don't see any financial tables in this particular filing, which is a bit of a bummer when we typically like to dive into those numbers. However, the sheer number of amendments to the merger agreement indicates a company actively navigating complex corporate transactions. From a strategic perspective, Aditxt is clearly committed to this merger with Evofem. They keep making changes to keep the deal alive, which implies they believe the combined entity will be stronger. Evofem, on the other hand, is being kept afloat with these equity investments from Aditxt. This suggests Evofem might not be in the strongest financial position on its own. Hence the need for these cash injections as part of the merger process. The risk here is that with so many amendments, there's always a chance the deal could fall apart. Each amendment adds complexity and potential points of failure. Also, the repeated pushing of end dates can sometimes signal a loss of momentum or underlying issues that are harder to fix. For investors, this means watching closely. Are these amendments just routine adjustments, or do they point to deeper problems? We'll need to see future filings to understand the financial health of the combined company once this merger, whenever it finally happens, is complete. It's a lot of paper shuffling so far, and the real performance will be judged post-merger. Alright, that's our breakdown of Aditxt's latest filing. What's your take on these constant amendments? Do you think this merger will finally go through, or are these signs of trouble? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives into corporate documents. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.